this training snippet, I'm going to talk about recalls. I have 3 recall cues. The first one is this way. That is a working recall, which means the dog is to move in my direction, but keep searching. And at any point during this recall, I could stop the dog or give it a directional to a different area. The next one is the verbal cue come, and this means return to me. And I'll use this every day as normal recalls while the dogs are on lead, but in this case I want the dog to come all the way back to me. Now I might release the dog again straight away, or it might be because I want to put the dog on the lead briefly because there's a deer showing itself or something, but it's just come back to me and we're going to interact in some way. The final one is the emergency recall, and the emergency recall I use the whistle, and this means come back to me regardless and at full speed. Now I'll use the emergency recall if we're calling them off a fine, and the only reason a dog is allowed to leave a fine is if it receives its reward, or the marker that it's going to receive its reward, or the emergency recall. Otherwise the dog must stay at the fine. And by that I mean that once it's detected target odor, it can ignore any cues I give to do anything else except the emergency recall. And I call that intelligent disobedience. Some people term it obedience to odor. So with the this way, that is a verbal cue during working a dog, and generally it's this way, just a nice high-pitched tone so the dog can hear it at distance. And then I would, as the dog's moving towards me, I might stop it on a whistle blast or a hand signal and verbal cue, stop, stay. Or I may give it a directional right or left, or back and move away from me again. But it means continue working. With the recall, that's a come, short, sharp, more a forced cue, come, which means return to me. And the final one is the emergency recall, which is 6 short blasts on the whistle, which means return to me as fast as you can, regardless of what's happening, even if you are on odor. So to train these techniques, we start with tuna in water. This is what Jeff Shetler of GA-K9, Georgia K9, calls canine crack, and I want to thank him for putting me on to using tuna. The dog's normal feed bowl, and the reason we use this is because it already has power. The dog is fed out of this twice a day, every day. This bowl means something to the dog already. And we start off with a long line. In this case, a biothane rope round, because it's less likely to get tangled. And the other problem we have here in South Texas is sand spurs, and those things will stick to anything, and they're sharp. They get in the dog's pads, but if you grab one on a line or something like that, they'll pierce into you. They can break off bits of them, and they're a real pain. All right, so that's the recalls and how I use the recall. We'll delve deeper into this in a classroom presentation at some point in the premium section.